and um, I didn't even get a chance to put my script together to talk to y'all, man. I just had to jump on. I just finished reading this book called The Age of Entitlement by Christopher Caldwell. Now, Christopher Caldwell is to put him, well, no, I'm gonna say it like it is. He's just a white ring, redneck Republican Klansman. And he writes this book. And the book really is really a strong, a detailed depiction of what the masses of white people think and how they're feeling about black progression. You know, I was always wondered, what is the epiphany? What is the addiction to another Donald Trump presidency? And I know that people have different political get downs, right? Of course, if you're a white conservative, of course you're gonna be for Trump. I get that. If you're a progressive or a Democrat, if you're on the left, you're gonna be against them. I get that too. You got the black conservatives, which I'll talk more about them a little bit later on. They always going to be down for the the cooning and the following and things like that. But this book, The Age of Entitlement by Christopher Caldwell, it just explained everything to me. I wouldn't recommend buying. Every black person should read this book. Now, I mean, you should read this book like you should have read Before the Mayflower. If you're black and you haven't read Before the Mayflower, shame on you. But this book really lays out about how the 1960s, in its very essence, was oppression of white people. It was a infringement on their white rights, their white power. The fact that we got the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Fair Housing Act of 1968. There's all kind of polls that they took polls of what white people felt about the civil rights movement in the 1960s, and all the polls overwhelmingly said that white people felt that the civil rights movement was moving too fast, right? Which makes sense. But in this book, he talks about that how better America was before the Civil Rights Act, and how they want to get back to it. How he really believes that we should go pre-1960. Now, that's just the book, right? And this all kind of other details. I don't want to give this clown no light, but that's why I might go into detail about the book. But what he's saying is what these Trump clans, the Oath Keepers and all these, and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Charlie Kirks of the world, and all the and the I guess Jim Jordan, all them clowns. This is what they feel. Why do you think? If you look at what they're doing today, and what they have done, the Voting Rights Act totally gutted it. Totally gutted it. We had we were given the right to vote in 1890, right, with the 15th Amendment. But the 15th Amendment was just for the states. Okay, matter of fact, the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendment was pretty much just for the states, right? There was no teeth to it. So if you were a government entity or a state, you couldn't discriminate. Even they did it anyway, but private entities could, right? That's why Jim Crow came out, where you couldn't go into certain restaurants, you couldn't go to certain schools, couldn't live in certain neighborhoods, because those amendments, really didn't have any teeth. Same with the Voting Rights Act of 1890; it didn't have any teeth. So that's why they had to redo it. It was like a second constitution, that they had to give it more teeth. And that's what the Voting Rights Act was. So instead of coming with all these draconian racist voting laws, like how many bubbles in a bar of soap, or they bring you a jar of jelly beans and say how many, I guess you got to know how many jelly beans are in this jar before you can vote, and all kind of other crazy stuff they were doing. And just flat out telling you, nigga, you can't vote because you a nigga, just flat out that. Well, the Voting Rights Act 1965 stopped all that. In other words, they had to get pre-clearance from the federal government before they can change any voting rights laws. Well, if you notice, that's been gutted. Okay. And as soon as it's been gutted, you see Texas and Oklahoma and North Carolina and Ohio and Mississippi and Georgia and Arkansas and all them redneck Republican states came up with all these voting laws, all these voting restriction laws. Because prior to the Voting Rights Act, they were able to do all these measures to prevent us from voting, even though in 1890 it gave African Americans the right to vote. Now, as far as voting, we are pre-1960s. We're pre-1960s. Here's another example. Excuse me. I think I'm kind of sneezing there. I might be coming down with something. You notice what they're doing to Black history, right? Black history is a threat to white power. It is an oppression to white folks. It is putting them in a bad light when you tell the truth about Black history. When you talk about the medical apartheid, when you talk about slavery in another name, when you talk about a book called The Dark Bargain, okay, when you talk about all those books that talk about Jim Crow and talk about slavery in its very detail, okay, it puts white people in a bad light, right? When you talk about the first 14 presidents owned slaves, and most of the people in Congress owned slaves. In fact, the last guy's family to own slave just left Congress in 1922. Okay, so that's a little over 100 years ago that a guy was in Congress where his family owned slaves. We're just just that close. So now they're taking Black history out of the schools and they're putting under CRT, which half of them ignorant ass clowns don't even know what CRT is. They don't even know what CRT is. I've asked some white ring Republicans that, well, CRT is being taught in elementary. Okay, now what is CRT? Well, it's teaching that white people are the oppressor and that Black people are the oppressed. That's not what it's teaching. I said, man, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That is not what CRT is. And I'm not going to go into all CRT. You guys can look it up for yourself. But the point of it is that if you're teaching anything about history, anything. Matter of fact, if you even teach the truth about history, teachers in the South can be fined and even fired. But anything you're teaching is under CRT. Look at the parallel here. Look at the train of events. First, they got rid of the Voting Rights Act, right? Now they want no Black history taught in school. We don't want to tell you that Andrew Jackson was a serial killer, right? We don't want to know that. We don't want to know that Jefferson was a rapist and that Washington owned slaves and used to rip their teeth out of their mouth because he had a real bad teeth problem. So something wrong with him. Maybe probably was cursed for being a devil, but he couldn't keep any teeth in his mouth. So he used to take the slaves' teeth and put them in his mouth and all kind of crazy stuff. But anyway, they don't want the truth about that. They don't want the truth about how people that look like me was absolutely tortured by people of the Caucasian race. And it's just barbaric. Because I don't got time to go into all the detail of that, but it's just absolutely barbaric. There's a lot of books out there you can read if you don't know what I'm talking about. So now they want to hide that. Think about this for a minute. If you don't learn from your past or acknowledge the past, most likely you're going to repeat it, right? With our parents, we're growing up as kids, and I'm sure your parents told y'all this, is, boy, why are you doing the same thing over again? You didn't learn from the last time. You didn't learn from the last butt whooping, did you? Okay, I'm going to give you another one. right? If you don't learn from the past, you're going to repeat those mistakes. If you hide it and cover it up and don't acknowledge and don't deal with it, you're planning on repeating it. That's why you're covering up. Look at what I'm saying now. Taking Black history out of school, taking away your right to vote, right? Okay, affirmative action. Affirmative action was passed in the 70s. Okay, so affirmative action, what did it do? It said 15% of all government contracted businesses had to go to minorities, and that it made, like, college, universities and colleges and businesses, it made them take a look at qualified Black potential students to go, to get into school, especially the Ivy League schools. They weren't even looking at Black people. And also as far as the workforce and in government contracts, right? Their notion is that we don't need it anymore. That's why they gutted it. But here's the gangster thing. A lot of people think affirmative action doesn't exist. No, affirmative action still exists. See, affirmative action had race and gender in it. Okay? And all the reports say that the people who reap the most benefits of affirmative action was not me, a Black man, not a Black woman. It was a white woman. White women got most of the benefit from affirmative action, right? So you would think, well, dang, why was white women out there the main ones wanting to get rid of affirmative action? Well, this is what they did, and this shit is gangster. They removed race out of affirmative action, but left gender in. Oh my God. Oh my God. So what they did was, me as a Black man cannot benefit from affirmative action, but white women who were benefiting from affirmative action, getting the most benefit in the first place anyway, still get affirmative action. That shit is gangster. That shit is gangster, bro. But that's what it is. You guys got to pay attention. Pay attention. So let me get to Donald Trump. Okay. And I was reading a report, and it was saying like 28% of Black people who are supporting Donald Trump. I'm like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with these Negroes. You didn't you gonna support somebody from a white nationalist party? Okay, and I'm gonna get into that. All right. So this is why they have this. No matter what Donald Trump does, no matter how many lies he tells, no matter how many laws he breaks, this is why they want Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is a supporter of white nationalism. He said himself, they're good people on both sides. He made comments about the birther with Obama. The Central Park Five, he said they should be put to death. Him and his father were sued in the 1970s for discriminating against Black folks. There's just a history to this. Hell, he even told Ramaswamy that he gonna go back to working at 7-Eleven. That's funny. That's funny. I gotta admit that's funny. But that's a racist comment though. He said that the African countries are shithole countries. Okay, that's what he said. Shithole countries. But he didn't say that about Europe. He didn't say that about, Belgium. He said African countries are shithole countries. He said Mexicans are rapists and murderers. He said all the people come out of Haiti got AIDS. Come on, man. What is that? This is a dog whistle. He is the white calling card. He is their method. Now listen, you got a 6'3" racist Supreme Court, the guardians of racism. Okay, you get a Republican president, okay, that went in and tried to dismantle all the protections that even Obama put into place, and then try to take our health care away. Now they get the House and the Senate. We're in trouble. And all you Negroes that trying to vote for Donald Trump for whatever damn reason you vote for Donald Trump, because Donald Trump ain't do nothing for Black people. Okay, Donald Trump didn't do anything for the economy. And like I said, you need to look at policy. You need to start reading data, okay? And stop. I don't know where you get your information from, I don't know, maybe Candace Owens, or I don't know where the hell you getting your data from. But that man did not pass one policy to help pull us into a better economy. He inherited a good economy from Biden. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, from Obama. The economy was good when he took office. Okay, and you can't name me one policy that Donald Trump has passed that has a causal link to helping the economy. Not one. He didn't do a damn thing. He didn't do a damn thing to help the economy. Nothing. Okay, and no one can say that he did. Not without any damn sense. All right. Everybody's talking about, well, we're in inflation. Well, you need to go study inflation. Inflation takes 2 years to really hit the market, to be realized. Inflation started under Trump, and we left with a huge deficit and inflation on the horizon. But of course, it comes under Biden, so then you blame Biden. But Biden has got the inflation down. You have to ask yourself, why do white people want this dude to be president? Because he is going to get us, is going to fulfill the wishes of a Christopher Caldwell and get us back to the 1960s. Here's why I say that. They got rid of the Voting Rights Act. They won't teach Black history in school. Okay, they wouldn't even pass the George Floyd Policing Act. So the police and criminal justice, that's out the window too. They shot down affirmative action in regards to us as Black folks. I was thinking, we are one amendment away from being back in Jim Crow. The only thing that is stopping them from, if you go into a restaurant and them saying, no blacks here, we don't serve your kind, not able to go to college, live in a neighborhood, work at a certain workplace, discrimination in contracts from the government, is the 1964 Civil Rights Act. That is the only thing that is stopping people like Christopher Caldwell from taking us back in Jim Crow. That's it. They've gotten rid of everything else, and they're coming after that. You got this dude, this attorney named Bloom, and you got people like Cardwell, and you got the Republic Klan, period, that are eyeing the civil rights movement to get rid of that. The bottom line is, white people are playing chess while Black people are playing checkers. Okay? They are playing the long game. They are planning for their generation, and we're planning for Saturday night. Okay? That's just what it is. Now you got these Black Republicans, the Tim Scotts, the Candace Owens, the Larry Elders, Uncle Thomas, Jesse Lee Peterson, and all these Black Republicans. So of course they're gonna support the Republican nominee. But here's the shell game. Here's the game with Black Republicans. If you notice, Black Republicans, they all have the same talking points. The Democrats are the party of slavery. Why are you on the Democratic plantation? The Democrats are using you. What else they say? It's never, they never say anything bad about the Republicans. It's always they're talking about Black folks and blame Black people for everything. That's just what they do. And they have to deny racism, or they have to defend it, or they have to do a little bit of both. That's what they do. They have all kind of racism in their party, but won't say a damn thing about it. They'll never say anything about the fact that the Republicans haven't passed any laws, policies, or anything to help Black people in the last 100 years. And you can't name me one, because they haven't. They had this guy, he was in the House. I think he was out of, I could be wrong. I think he was out of Tennessee. And he went to the House, right? I'll look it up. I'll put in a link later on. And he says, give me one thing. This is a conservative white male Republican, right? Representative. He said, give me one thing I could take back to my constituents. Just give me one. Just one. Give me one thing that we've done that I can take back to my constituents and say, look, the Republican Party did this. As you know, crickets. If you a black man and you're in the Republican Party, what are you conserving? What are you conserving? They don't even talk to you. They don't pass any policies. But here's the game, though. And let me be clear before I get into this next point. I'm not a Democrat. I'm independent. I'm more of a progressive. And I'm independent. I used to be a Democrat, but I went independent because there's a lot of things about the Democrats I don't like either. And I'm going to go into some more detail why I'm independent, why I think all black people should be independent. But I'm about not parties. I'm about candidates. And I'll vote for any candidate that's going to support and protect the people I love, and as a whole, do things that benefit black folks. And you can't get that on the Republican side. You won't find it. Find me somebody in the House or the Senate in the Republican Party that's even bringing a bill to the floor that benefits black folks. I'll wait. I ain't got all year. I got stuff to do. But you're not gonna find it because even in the House, what are they doing? Talking about the border. They're using the border as a dog whistle to try to block a Biden re-election. But they're so goddamn stupid that they hurt themselves. They had the border bill, everything that they wanted came to the floor, and then they voted against it because Donald Trump told them not to vote for it. That's gonna come back and haunt them. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that. But back to the black Republicans. Your black Republicans are about. Go listen to Candace Owens and all that. I'm telling you, as long as they do these things, ignore your racists in your own party, okay, and talk bad about people on the left and play this left-right game bullshit, and say everything that white people want to say, but they be called racist, so they get a black face to say it. Say that, and it will be very lucrative for you. Just be a self-hating Negro, and it will be very lucrative for you. As a matter of fact, if you want another revenue stream, just become a black Republican. Start your YouTube channel. Talk bad about BLM. Talk bad about black people. Talk bad about the Democrats, and you'll have conservative. They are looking for Negroes that be a self-hater and put his own people down in front of a mostly white audience and say slavery, we deserve slavery. Jim Crow was good for us. We don't need affirmative action. We don't need the Voting Rights Act. They shouldn't teach black history in school. Just say whatever that. It could be very lucrative for you. I mean, TV, book deal. You get your own show. You can go on Fox News. You can make a lot of money doing that. They make a lot of. It's very lucrative. Okay, but you're selling your soul to the devil, though. That's what you're doing. And if you ask any of these black conservative talking heads, like Jesse Lee Peters, just a straight. There's no hope for that devil. That old bastard. There's no hope for him. But Larry Elder or Candace Owens, let's just be with them. Or you got the dude Terrence Williams, I think his name is. Ask them this. They're always talking about what the Democrats are doing, and some of that stuff they have good points. Some of that stuff is true because the Democrats need to get their butts together. And there's also you got some racist people on the Democrat side too. These corporate Democrats, they're racist as hell, and that's why I don't. I give Democrats a side eye too. Let me be clear. But if you notice with them, they pretty much if they play that game, and they can talk about what's wrong in the black community, but they ain't doing a damn thing about it. What program or what non-profit organization that they are supporting that helps deal with the issues that they're talking about? Like, for example, Larry Elders say there's a lack of fathers at home, and that's the black problem. Not racism, it's not none of that stuff. Okay, there's some truth to that. Even though there's data out there that's saying that fathers are very active in their kids' life. Now, 2/3 of the homes are led by women because they're not married. that does not mean the father is not involved. Okay, so let's make that clear. But let's say all things being equal, we have a huge father disparity in the black community. Larry Ellis was on this show. I can't think of the name of this young brother and sister, real smart, got a podcast. He was on their podcast, and they simply asked him, what are you doing about fathers missing in black homes? What are you doing about it? His reply was, you have to first admit there's a problem. And they're like, you're looking at this clown. Now, he's an older dude. He's in his 60s, late 60s, I think, Larry. These are young guys. I think this I don't know if they were, a couple of just co-hosts, but anyway, that doesn't matter. They probably like in their 30s. They were like really young. And they were asking him, what do you mean admit there's a problem? We don't need to admit anything. You're saying that we have a father issue in the black community. What are you doing about it? He said, first you need to admit there's a problem. In other words, to make a long story longer, he ain't doing shit. And you know what they told him? Larry, get the fuck off my show. I kid you not. Excuse my German, but that's what they said. Man, get the fuck off my show, man. Get off my goddamn show. You ain't doing shit. That's all these black Republicans, these talking heads, they got this mass following. Everything they complain about, they ain't doing a damn thing about. They're there just to complain because that's what their white conservative funders are paying them to do. You got this one dude, can't think of his name. He's so enamored by going against BLM. That's how he made his bag, talking about BLM. White people are mad at BLM. I got my shirt, Black Offers Matter. Anyway, get this on my website, Kingdomhood website. But here's the deal: you don't like BLM. First of all, I'm not a part of the Black Lives Matter organization, but my lives matter. I like the slogan Black Lives Matter. I don't give a damn about what the organization doing. Black Lives Matter hadn't done anything them white organizations hadn't done. Why all of a sudden that black organizations got to be the poster child for wrongdoing when you got hundreds of years of white organizations doing scandalous shit? Come on now, if you want to go there. But anyway, if you don't like Black Lives Matter, fine. If you don't like Black Matter, then start an organization and do it better. Crickets. You complain about somebody who made mistakes, may have done it wrong. I don't know. But at least they doing something. What is your black ass doing? Besides hating on somebody who's out there doing it. I used to hate people. I play football, man. And you got people on the sideline talking stuff about what you doing. You in the game, they on the bench. They talking shit about you. Or you got people in the stands, never played football in their life. They're gonna be talking about how you should be doing and what you doing wrong. And they ain't play football or whatever sport. I know that's part of the get down. I get that. We love the fans, but y'all know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, so they're not doing anything. Okay, so anyway, let me get off that. I want to wrap this up. We need unity. Okay, we don't need uniformity. Okay, we don't need to think the same. Damn, walk and talk and dress the same. We don't need to have the same, be from the same party. We don't need to have the same religion. Okay, we don't need to disagree on everything. But the one thing that always reigns true is that we are black and that we have a different pathway than white people do. Now, you can be the biggest coon from here to Timbuktu. You can be the biggest Sambo in the history of Sambos, or the house Negro. At some point, you get your Negro wake-up card. At some point, okay? So, us as black people gotta unite. We gotta come together as one voting block, okay? And go to each party and demand this is what we want as a black voting block. Okay, I don't care if you're Christian, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. It don't matter what you are. Okay, we are all black folks, and they are trying to take us back to the 1960s. Make no mistake about it. If Donald Trump gets elected, they have the Supreme Court, they have the administrative branch, and if they get Congress, all you Negroes that are voting and got your got your nose up Donald Trump's orange behind, you're gonna regret it. This man, I mean, listen, the dude, if he gets back in office, he's already mad because he's going through all this stuff, got to pay back all this money. He is going to wreak major havoc on black folks. Major havoc. Okay? Just think about what I'm saying, man. And can't go on to too much, but the overall aim of the Republican Party and all their supporters is to get us pre-1960 together as black folks. We are going to be in a world of hurt. Just think about what I'm saying. God bless y'all. Kingdomhood Conversation. Please like and subscribe. Kingdomhood Conversation on YouTube, Kingdomhood, KDM Combo on Instagram, and on Facebook is just simply Kingdomhood Conversation. God bless y'all, man. Stay strong, stay up, and just look at what I'm saying, man. But anyway, if you want to go on and listen to this guy's book, Christopher Caldwell, you'll see what I'm saying. All right. Talk to y'all later, man. This your boy Rich, Kingdomhood Conversation. We'll talk.